there, nerds out there today. Welcome to the Rican show. My name is Moses, but people can call me Mo.
I'm Lewis. You can call me Lou.
And we're here to give you our perspective when it comes to everything nerdom, fandom, comic books, graphic novels, movies, TV, you name it. We're here to talk about it. You know what? I gotta say, I'm happy that this is really happening now. It's kind of like a little lifelong dream of to actually bring this to the public. You want to give them a little bit of story about yourself?
Yeah.
As to where you came from?
Yeah. Well, I'm Louis Cruz. I was born physically disabled. I have what you call arthrogryposis, which is a curvature of the joints and muscles, but it doesn't prevent me from following my dreams. I write novels, books, comic books. I write scripts for comic books, and that's pretty much who I am. Mo?
Well, I'm Moses. I am your basic nerd. I mean, at 9 years old, my first exposure to anything fandom was Star Trek. And from that point, it opened the doors to everything from the comic book world, sci-fi, fantasy. I mean, it opened a world that, as far as the imagination was concerned, it just gave me an avenue in which to relish and enjoy. And as I got older, I decided to join groups. Like I'm in several parts of like 4 different Star Trek groups. New York City Away Team, USS Growler, Geek Life Rules, Starbase 42, just to name the 4 that I'm in now. And it's kind of a family of people who are like-minded like myself. And we share the same views and fun when we talk about anything, geekdom, nerdom, you name it. And finally, just to have this kind of platform to share this love with everyone, it's a joy in itself. So, as far as today's first episode is
I have a
concerned,
question.
Shoot.
You're a Star Trekkie.
Oh yeah, I'm a Trekker.
I'm a Star Wars. Which one is better?
Oh, don't go there, man.
Which one is better? Which one is better?
I mean,
I think Star Trek has the better story, better universe in terms of like the characters stay together, where Star Wars is more open map. It's more like they can introduce a character and give it a backstory, and he comes from that planet, and that's it. Whereas Star Trek, you dealing with only Starfleet characters.
Well, Star Trek was Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future, a utopian future in which we don't have war. Sickness has been eliminated. The need for money is no longer a serious pursuit. The pursuit is, who are you? And having you go to the stars and search for other cultures is a way to understand yourself better. So that's how what Starfleet really is.
You say they don't have this, they don't have that. They also don't have handicapped people, from what I saw. They only had Captain Pike, which is weird because he wasn't really born handicapped, but he became handicapped. And in the new episode, Discovery, in the background, you saw a guy in a regular sports chair. Why is he in a sports chair? It's the future. It should be more... by that time, a wheelchair should be floating.
Should be floating, but that's Professor Xavier. That's the X-Men.
Exactly. But they should be more high-tech.
Well, again, because of the fact that medical science has achieved so many new areas of growth, I'm pretty sure that at some point they've found cures for certain illnesses and diseases. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not handicapped out there. I mean, if even in Discovery, you have people with implants, enhanced.
Yes.
So science has helped them to better themselves through technology. The pilot of the USS Discovery, she's enhanced. Ariam, who was a communications officer, if I'm not mistaken, but she was half machine, half human because of an accident. So yes, they've not say eliminated all handicaps, but through science, technology, medical, they found a way to help and maybe cure these ailments.
In Star Wars, they have a character in a wheelchair who the wheelchair looks like he's floating, and it's not wheels. I found that I found that unique in a way. It looked like their version of a busted wheelchair, basically. It wasn't that high tech. And I think that's what Star Trek should have done as well.
They should have done, but I think it's somewhere along the line they're going to. It's just a matter of, again, when they present a character for people to latch on to and say, yeah, I can relate with him and I can be him and I understand where he's coming from. I mean, in the case of you, it's like, I would say, with the accomplishments that you have done as a comic book writer, storyteller, that pretty much says that nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, is beyond anyone's reach. If you have a dream,
Follow it.
go for it.
Yes.
Nothing is going to get in your way. That's the best thing you could ever do for yourself.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. I believe that. I've always been taught that if you think it and you can come out with it, you should do it. You know, and it's weird because when I was young, my father didn't want to buy an Atari system for my brother, so he thought I wasn't going to be able to play it. But I always have a way of seeing things and figuring out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to play? I have friends that I used to beat them in the Blitz, the football game. Around the block, they thought I couldn't beat them, and I used to beat them in the last second. I used to be so mad at me. I used to be so upset.
I mean, there was a time growing up when it came to school, my reading level wasn't so great. But that was only because the books in school didn't capture me in any way. Now, as soon as I got a comic book in my hand, my reading level shot through the roof. I went from a 5th grade reading level to absolute high school reading level because I became so fascinated with what they're talking about in the story that every word that I would come across that I didn't understand, I was already in the dictionary trying to find the meaning of it. And when I found the meaning of it, I understood it. And from that point, the story became more relevant to me. It became like real food for thought, and I wanted to follow it. So, the teachers in the school saying, he belongs in special ed. And I would act like special ed. But that's okay. That's what they thought. But then when I did the reading examinations for the state, they're like, why does he have a high school reading level and he's only in 5th grade?
Right.
Haha, I fooled them all. Again, the imagination is what captures me. Storytelling and just taking me to another place. As even Kevin Smith says one time when it came to Star Wars, if it makes me feel like I'm 9 all over again, I enjoy it.
Yes.
And that's what it does for me. It makes me feel like I'm a kid again, sitting there watching it for the first time. And that love for that film and the characters, whether it's film, television, comic books, TV, all of it right there. If it makes me feel like, oh, wow, I'm like the moment with E.T.
Yeah.
Phone home, or when he passed away, everybody cried.
Oh, I cried.
God, I bawled like a baby, even as an adult. And I'm mad enough to admit that.
I watch it now and I tear up a little.
Exactly. So these are the things that capture, and that's the thing we like to bring to you, our captured feelings of what we've seen, and hopefully you feel the same way too.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's hopefully what we're going to bring to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking about handicap heroes, and then you have to look at some of them these days. Like, for instance, one in particular is one of my favorites, Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Blinded as a child while saving somebody, and yet his enhanced senses from hearing to smelling, tasting, feeling, everything becomes like tenfold. And then what does he do with those abilities? Then he goes, you can call him a vigilante, but lawyer by day, crime fighter at night.
But is he really handicapped? Because like you said, it enhanced him. So he's able to see, not only, he's not blind, he's able to see outlines.
He can see outlines through sonar.
Yes. So is he really handicapped? Is he really, is he really, to me, that's not handicappedness. For me, a handicapped person, for you to feel what a handicap goes through, you would have to be born handicapped. Because of the struggles that we go through, like I'm one of the few that can actually get up from my wheelchair and walk. I remember a time when I couldn't do that. I got into a car accident, and that made me walk. When I was about 10. If it wasn't for that car accident with my grandparents, I probably wouldn't walk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then, what's his name?
My life would have been very different if I wasn't able to walk, I think. Very, very different. So yeah, like the closest one you can come up with that's handicap is Professor X, but again, he's only like that because of what the power he has. Am I right? Like the
Yeah, I would say you are. But what I'm thinking of now, when you mentioned that, if you wanted to go with the handicap hero, Captain Marvel Jr.
Yes.
He is handicapped to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you've seen in the movie Shazam, he gained his powers through Billy Batson.
Yes.
So, handicapped normally, but he doesn't always present himself as handicapped because he's always fighting for the little guy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you have to take into account, because he's already had the courage. And then all of a sudden he has the powers, and then now the courage to go with it. And that's the beautiful thing for him. That another demonstration that don't let your handicap stop you from doing anything you ever want to do. And if you have the power, and use it.
Yeah.
Use it. Be the hero of the community. Be the hero to your family. Be the hero to your friends. I mean, you don't have to go out there and fight crime, but you can be a hero in so many other ways.
Yes. I've had people when I did stand up, the promoter himself, he was like, you have something there for people with disabilities to look up to you. And I thought that was great words, hearing that from him. That was great. I did 3 shows with him, and I'm planning on doing more, hopefully. I happen to think that the handicapped people, you guys, the normal people, are the handicapped ones. Because if you line 10 of you guys up and you say, how do you write? You're going to say with your right or your left arm, right? Right or left hand. Whereas you line up 10 handicapped people, I write with my mouth. Other people write with their feet. Other people write with a helmet on. So who's really the handicapped one? Is it us for being unique, or you guys for being almost the same?
Can't really argue with that, because I do a Puerto Rican left, and that means going right. So that's definitely directionally challenged, if I do say so myself.
That's cool.
But with that being said, yes, normal. What is normal when you look at it? What is normal? I mean, just because someone's in the chair, or just because someone you think doesn't understand you, doesn't make them not normal. It's just a matter of looking what they look through.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, it's as normal as any one of us.
Yep.
Any one of us.
And with that, we'll be back after these commercials, and
we got to pay the bills, but don't worry, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back,
and we'll hit on some more handicap heroes
and
Stay
villains.
tuned.
And villains.
Come, let's play. Radio. Come, let's play. Fun is what we crave.
Let's go. You're listening to New York City's LDM Radio. Another long stretch of continuous music.
Back into time. Flashback.
Make my move, gonna live my dream, gonna live my
New York City's LDM Radio.
The best radio station in the world is right here, right now.
Welcome back to Ricans.
And here we're back again continuing our discussion of handicap heroes.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? Next on the list that I thought about, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
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 He's unique.
Very unique, and I found it interesting in his show that he did have an earpiece, and I said, okay, they did include that because
And he's handicapped for real now.
Yeah, and literally,
He's handicapped for real now.
but coming back strong. From what I read last time, he's definitely doing everything it takes, and he wants to show that he can do this. So again,
Yes.
pointing to the point that nothing can stop you if you put your mind to it. You can make it happen, and I'll be looking forward to see what Jerry Rememy will do, physically speaking, when he comes back. I mean, is he going to have a stunt double doing most of his stuff, or he's going to be able to do the things that he did in the Avengers film?
I just hope they don't have him in front of a snowplow again. It's just
Yeah, no Zambui for you, bro.
No.
No, none of that. No, let's not
stay,
have that.
stay away from snow.
Mm-hmm, definitely. You know, it's already enough that you're on the ice. Definitely enough you were already on the ice in your show. That should be the closest thing you can get to anything snowy-wise.
But tell us a little bit about Hawkeye. What do you think he should be the...
Well, with Hawkeye, he suffered a disability from an action fighting a villain. You know, using a sonic arrow, he became deaf in one ear. Mm-hmm. But from that deafness, he learned sign. And so he turned that around for himself. So, for instance, another handicap hero that he came across, Echo, who is mute but not deaf.
See, and she's the real handicap one in there.
Exactly.
And they're not giving her enough play.
Well, they gave her own show, so hopefully, and I'm like really praying because they're actually, pushing these heroes up in the front. Because, in a sense, when it comes to story, I mean, you want to follow the person and you want to go through their journey. And through their journey, you get your own understanding. It's like, again, with a handicap hero, for those who are, you can see, their journey, relate to it, to the point where you can go, yeah, that's me. But you know what? I'm not going to let anything stop me anymore. And through heroes, as we mentioned before, Hawkeye, Echo, Daredevil, some of these people are, I wouldn't say role models, but I would say people that you can look at and go, yes, anything's achievable.
Yeah. And she touched on two things, the female empowerment and the handicap thing. Now, but did you see the show?
Oh, I love the show.
Did you notice the mistake? I thought it was a mistake.
What mistake was this?
She's riding a motorcycle. And in the motorcycle, the car rings the horn, or truck, I think. And she's how did she hear that? She's supposed to be deaf, right? So how did she hear the horn and that wakes her up from dozing off? I thought that was, I thought that was an oops moment.
Okay, guys, over at
MCU, Marvel, yeah.
Got to follow up. Got to keep that straight because we're going to watch out for these things. Those little Easter eggs, we're going to call you out on.
Definitely. Because I thought that was either a mistake or coincident, but no. Because if she's deaf, she shouldn't even have heard that.
True.
And the reason why she rides the motorcycle is the vibration of the motorcycle.
Yeah, but every girl loves the vibration of a motorcycle. You don't have to be deaf for that.
I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, ladies.
But yeah, it's that I found that mistake, and I thought it was. I had to actually rewind it. I was like, "Did I just see this? Hold on." And the next day, I called my brother, and because I watched it late at night, and I have nobody to say these things, I gotta wait till the next day. So,
but not anymore.
No.
Today, you can share that with the world, and we can start generating that conversation. And start telling Disney, "Hey, get it right, please."
By the way, any comments or anything, please leave on the Rican Facebook page. We'll contact you guys back. Any questions? Let us know.
Any ideas? Let us know.
Yeah.
We'll even give you credit on that if we use your idea.
Yeah. And who's next?
Next on the list, well, not so much a personal favorite, but an interesting favorite, which is Charles Xavier. Professor X himself.
Yes.
Man, again, as you mentioned before about an accident, an accident put him behind the wheelchair, but did that slow him down?
Not at all.
Not at all. Rich, good looking, And for those ladies who love bald men, I'm going to say bald, so you love them. But again, the most powerful mind on the planet, and an intellect when it comes to genetic science.
Yes.
I mean, this man, forget about it. He's a genius on wheels in itself. I mean, take away the power, he still has his intellect and how he approaches the world, especially when it came to the idea of trying to integrate mutants into the normal society so they're not hated. So again, another example of someone who's turning his disability around and trying to better not only himself but others like him as well.
If you want to go into the disability of the mutants, it's not so much the ones we see; it's the ones we don't see, like the what are they called? That they lived underground.
The Morlocks.
The Morlocks. They were born disfigured. They were born, because the mutant power comes to you during adolescence. But these people were born with the mutation already, and they're again, like I was born handicapped. Those mutants were born disfigured and everything. So I think those are the ones that are the handicapped ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are physically disabled.
The mutation disabled them.
Right.
Yes.
They can't show their face because people will fear them or look at them differently or anything. Yeah.
Yes, this is true. The disfigurement is enough that they drove themselves underground because people feared them and then chased them and tried to hunt them down. But thanks to Xavier and others like him as well, joining together, forming the X-Men to show the world that even though they have this ability, their interest is to protect the world, but not enslave it.
I don't know. I got something against Professor X because he only took the pretty people. He only took, he took the pretty people, basically. He took the, I don't know. I just think he took the pretty people. I think he was,
we'll see.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, you're good enough to join the show.
I got nothing against Hank McCoy, but, come on now. The furball?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I like the furball, though.
I mean, he's a cool guy.
He's
Don't get me
very
wrong.
intelligent.
He's very intelligent. I'm not taking anything away from him. But then again, in the beginning, nice looking guy. Then the fur kicks in and the fangs kick in. And of course, the manicure that has to follow between his feet and his hands. But luckily, his intelligence, that's what saves him. Women love a smart man.
Yeah.
Yeah!
It's true.
Who else? Who else do we, as far as a mutant is concerned?
Mutant. Who do you think? Who?
Well, not disfigured, but when I look at as far as handicap heroes are concerned, and we chimed on this at one point. Superman.
He's handicapped.
He is handicapped. People was going like, "No, I'm in the man."
He's a character I relate to a lot in terms of me being handicapped because in my life I try to do things as normal as possible just to keep up with you normal people. Superman always tries to be normal as well. He's always trying to fit in, and that's why he created Clark Kent, because he can't fit in as Superman, and Clark Kent he's trying to hide that ability. So I like the whole character of Superman trying to be normal, and I think that's whereas Batman, he's got money, he can hide anything.
Yeah, but he's not normal. Not in the head, at least.
No, he's got psychological problems.
Yeah.
He's got
the mommy-daddy issues. You shoot my mommy and daddy, I will be messed up.
Exactly, yeah.
But with Superman, I remember it best when I read the graphic novel, Superman Earth 1. I mean, he was 20 years old. He has these abilities. He was raised as a farm boy, but he doesn't know his place in the world. So that's why I related a lot when I watched with Man of Steel.
Smallville, that's what they got from Smallville from. A lot of the stuff from Smallville.
And watching him as he become the hero.
Yes.
It's like seeing that he knows he's different. He doesn't know why. But he's trying to find a place in this world where he would fit in. I mean, yes, he has to hide from the world what he is because there are implications behind the fact that if he's found out, what the government would do. But at the same time, being raised as a farm boy and being raised to help people, feed people, and just be there for people. He couldn't help himself but to help and support. So hence the idea of Clark Kent and then Superman. And this is the one distinction that most people, I read it once in Action Comics when Superman was just not doing anything and just walking across the world and just walking. That's it. Which was the fact that Superman is what he can do. But who he really is Kal-El Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. He was raised a farm boy in Kansas. He is the last son of Krypton. But his abilities, people, they Superman, but that's what he can do. Yes, he can fly. He has heat vision, cold breath, speed, strength, but that's it.
Yeah.
You have all that power. What do you do with it? And that's where the part of him being raised as a farm boy and like I said, truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, or back in the days, it would say for justice for everyone.
Yes.
So again, that is who he really is. And when he's out there, even though he's dressed as Superman, it's really Clark Kent looking at the world from his perspective and trying to decide what is best. What can he do to help us? And that can become a very, very, very debilitating moment, because there are times where you have to step back or step forward. And you don't know, but then you have to look at what is it in best interest, because again, our planet is full of governments, and they say one thing, and they're going to spend their time talking to death about everything. But then you got to go, hey, no, what the hell? Someone is drowning. I'm going to save them. I don't care what country they're from.
The story that I loved about Superman, the Red Sun, when he was raised in Russia.
A whole different perspective.
A whole different perspective. There's so much you can do with the character of Superman that they haven't even touched yet. It's. I would love to see Superman just. I don't know. It's something. Use his power to its fullest potential, because they're not using it to its fullest potential.
No.
And it's the same thing with the Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk. I mean, in some of the stories, Hulk actually outlives mankind.
He does, but again,
and so does Superman.
He is much disabled with having the multiple personality disorder, because of all the different Hulks we've come across. I mean, as an abused child, the manifestations, from was it Mr. Fix-It, the Gray Hulk, the original Gray Hulk, Green Hulk, World Breaker Hulk.
But the most powerful is the Savage.
The Savage Hulk. So again, all these different personalities based from the abuse that he had. But it was the Professor Hulk in which everything got put together, and he was, again, the power of the Hulk with the mind, the genius of Bruce Banner. Mm-hmm. And that is the example of taking that power and turning it into something positive, showing that your disability does not define you in any way.
Yeah, I really feel that's something that can be. I would love for them to just use them in a certain way, in a certain thing,
Mm-hmm. Like another powerhouse, Ben Grimm, The Thing.
I'm not too fond of him.
What is it? Is it The Rocks?
Yeah, it's The Rocks. It's
really?
The Rocks. Yeah,
The Rocks?
I don't like The Rocks. Something about him, I just don't. I never was. No, to me it was like, I was mad when they put him against the Hulk, thinking he's equal. No, Hulk is 10 times more powerful.
No, we already learned that the hard way. Him more than one time.
Yeah,
and more than one time.
I think in the Marvel universe, I don't think there's anybody equal to the Hulk.
Well,
when you
the closest, the closest, and I would say the closest, not edging over in any way, would be Thor.
Yeah. Thor.
I mean, it takes a Norse god to take him on, but even he, at some point, has a limit.
Yeah.
Has a limit, but he's probably the only one that could handle him for maybe a good amount of time before he gets pissed off to the point and punches him off planet.
And I thought that was great what they did with the Avengers, the cinematic universe, where they had them and he just punched him. Like I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good,
that punch is like, and just sitting there, it's like I owe you from that earlier with your hammer.
Yeah, mm-hmm. that was awesome. I said to myself, yeah, Avengers is gonna go far.
Of course, and I'm being a guy saying this. My favorite was always the lullaby from the Black Widow.
Yes, how
She
was
said
able
the
to
sun
calm
was
them.
coming low.
Yeah.
Oh, the chills I got.
She was. Yeah. She was a. I was mad they killed her off the way they did, but I don't think she's dead. I think.
I
they're
don't
gonna
think
bring her
so.
back.
I don't think so either. There's still that whole idea with the Infinity Stones when Cap brought them back to where they belong, especially in Vormir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
And also the TV show with Loki.
Mm-hmm.
They made those Infinity Stones look like nothing. They had a whole drawer just full of different.
Infinity Stone.
Yeah, like
It's like you could have just wore them as tchotchkes and
yeah,
little
exactly rhinestones, or
earrings
whatever.
and whatever.
Yeah,
So yeah,
something's gonna happen there.
something's gonna happen. I mean, I would love to see her back. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Scarlett Johansson as an actress. I mean, not because she's gorgeous. Okay, because she's gorgeous.
I liked her in the movie Lucy, where she plays the. That was
yes.
awesome.
Yes. When she was given this ability, and she was evolving more and more and more to the point where she just became
It was like the
matter,
Matrix.
energy.
It was like the Matrix.
Exactly.
If you want to look at it, it was like the Matrix, where,
Mhm.
yeah,
And she's not gone. She's just energy.
yeah,
That's the thing. She just became something else altogether. But then the whole idea of the fact that everything in the world, just all the answers were there. The universe was just unfolded before our eyes. And yes, it took a drug, but that drug opened the mind.
My favorite scene there was when she saw the connections to the phones, that it was like wires.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, right, if you take that scene now, with all the phones that's connected now, it would be a knot.
Yeah, it would be.
It would be.
It would be. I mean, we are essentially connected in so many ways than it was 30 years ago. I mean, 30 years ago, you had a rotary dial and you pick up a
Yes.
phone. And you can imagine those nights that you were talking to somebody and you're on that rotary phone and sometimes you fall asleep right on it.
Listen, my grandmother was probably one of the few people that still had a house phone.
House phone?
Yeah, one of those the landline phones.
There's a house phone?
Yeah, there's a landline phone. Yeah.
How barbaric.
Yes, she was still the only one that had one, I think. And she had a cell phone. She just didn't like the cell phone.
Yes. She didn't like the cell phone. My mom's the same way too. When we took away the house phone, right, and I got her just to settle with just the cell phone,
Yeah.
but she hadn't gotten used to it yet. And I'm in the living room, I'm watching a scene on some show, and the phone would ring. And she actually came into the living room asking me to answer it. I said, Mom, there's no phone in the house. You have your cell phone.
Yeah.
Did that dramatic pause and like, oh. And I went right back into her room watching her novela. You know, it's
Can't interrupt them with their novellas.
oh no, can't do that. No, bleeding right in front of them to the point of death. Wait for a commercial. Wait for a commercial. Better.
The Russian Putin could come and they'll be like, "No, wait, could you give us a
Wait.
minute?
Mhm.
Wait till
Exactly.
commercial, and
Exactly.
you could blow up the world then." You know, that's the way it is.
That's the way it is. That's what we call a Latino lifestyle.
Yes, the novelas come first.
Exactly.
I remember when I was young, my mother used to watch All My Children and all that. Oh, I hated that.
God.
Jesus
But those things
Christ.
never end.
No,
It never
They
ends.
don't.
I mean, what was it? My ex-wife, she would be watching Days of Our Lives, and it was like I peek in and say, oh, another episode.
Yeah.
And then there came the episode where one of them was possessed by the demon, and for about 6 months the demon was ruining everybody's
No,
lives. I'm
my-
like, really?
my thing was the twins.
The twins.
They did that to the death of the soap operas, bro.
The dead horse was already dead.
We're giving our ages away, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We're giving our ages away.
Yeah, don't let the white beard fool you.
Yeah. We're giving our ages away. But we're still nerds.
And we're still nerds, and we're still loving it.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to go into a commercial break. And coming back, we'll have one more hero that we want to celebrate as far as handicap heroes are concerned. So stay tuned for more Ricans.
As mighty armies clash in a struggle for total domination, the scales can be tipped by one man who has the courage to confront his fate and make a choice that will decide the fate of the world.
Guys put a lot of smoke in today. Wow. But anyway, we expecting a real superhero? I don't think so. The real life superheroes are the ones that are helping out in their community today. And the LDM show will be there to bring you the events and stories to life. Do you know a real superhero? Let us know. But for now, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Also visit our websites for photos, videos, and updates. But until the meantime, hey, I gotta be out of here.
As mighty armies clash in a struggle for total domination, the scales can be tipped by one man who has the courage to confront his fate and make a choice that will decide the fate of the world.
Guys put a lot of smoke in today. Wow. But anyway, we expecting a real superhero? I don't think so. The real life superheroes are the ones that are helping out in their community today. And the LDM show will be there to bring you the events and stories to life. Do you know a real superhero? Let us know. But for now, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Also visit our websites for photos, videos, and updates. But until the meantime, hey, I gotta be out of here.
Welcome back to another Ricans. And again, that's Mo, Lou. Any comments or questions, hit up the social media, Nerdaricans or the LDM. And Mo, let's go.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So, and continuing our theme with handicap heroes, we have one in mind that we kind of agree on, and there are certain different points that we want to touch on, and that is Moon Knight.
Ooh, Moon Knight.
Yes, Mr. Mark Spector.
Mr. Craziness himself.
Mr. Multiple Personality until the ancient Egyptian spirit of Khonshu struck a deal and gave him the abilities and the powers of Moon Knight.
Yes.
Now, again, he is handicapped. I mean, more personalities than that, but mentally speaking. But
yes.
Again, is it slowing him down? Is it hampering him in any way in life? I don't think so.
No.
But when you look at the flip side of it, the only person really, benefiting this is Khonshu.
But he can't have a social life.
No, he can't.
Because he's schizo. He's he will never be able to follow a relationship or anything because he's always flipping in and out of different personalities.
Ghosting women left and right.
Yes.
I mean, here today, gone the next. Don't even remember you or know who you are. Ghosting.
Yes.
But again, Khonshu's the one that's always winning because when he stands up to the Khonshu, the next personality takes over, and guess what he offers them?
What I always wondered is Khonshu...
Bless you.
is that character also a part of his schizo? Does he really exist? Is it that to me has never been explained. He's got all these personalities. What if Khonshu is just another one? That's the one that he's focused on.
Okay, folks, that's a question for you.
Yes.
Answer it on our Facebook page.
Answer it in because I mean it would only make sense that maybe I'm doing it as my part as a writer that, okay, he's got all these schizophrenic characters, but is Khonshu the one that he's focused on that, it gives him the ability to tap into these other ones?
Yeah, he does. He taps into everyone that every time he stood up against, that personality fades off. Another personality takes over.
But the one constant is Khonshu. That's the one constant character that stays with him.
Yep, he's the one that's constant, but he's the one that's always making the deals with the next new personality than Mark Spector has.
Which makes me wonder if that's not the real deal, if that's not the one that's also as part of his schizo.
Inquiring minds do want to know.
Yes.
So
If
please hit us up on our Facebook page and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Now, again, going back to that, I keep thinking it's like he benefits so much because he takes over the next personality. I mean, he went through a child personality. He went through a spy personality. I mean, how many personalities does this man have?
Yes.
And he's going through them like nothing and taking over. When one goes against him, he goes to the next personality and takes over and gives him that same deal. That one disappears. Next one takes over. I mean, it's definitely an abusive relationship when you look at it. And,
Abusive to himself also.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you even ask him, why do you do that?
He don't even know.
Or say like what most people would say, oh, because I love him.
Yes,
like, really?
Exactly.
It's just back and forth, back and forth. I mean, I really can't think of any other way of defining it, but it is debilitating to say the least. But again, with the fact that country is the one that wins, is it a disability after all?
Yeah, is it? That's a good question, and we would like to get your feedback on that. Again, hit us up. Leave a comment at our page or whatever, and we'll get back to you. And if you have anything interesting, we'll get back to you also.
And if we like your ideas, we will use them and give you credit for it. So
yes,
hit us up. Now, another handicap hero I was just coming across is Komodo. Not well known that much in Marvel, but it was a woman who it was a double amputee, born without arms and legs. And of course, she came across the lizard. And through science, not only did she come out better than the lizard, I mean, she wound up having her limbs, and because of the science experiment, she was able to regrow limbs if she loses them, and a tough skin. I mean, turn that frown upside down, and you already have your life back together, with the exception of the fact that you look like a lizard half the time. But
and probably have an appetite for flies, but
fruit flies, millipede.
Fruit flies would be her diet, I think. Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Crunchy, but again, that's protein in that. Who knows? Yeah. But again, when you look at it, it's like all these heroes in one way or another, it's true, they all have some sort of a disability. And they use that to become heroes, or if not let them be debilitated by those handicaps.
Correct.
I mean, when I think about it, and it doesn't sound like a disability, but to me it is Captain America. Man out of time.
Yes.
Because his disability is the fact that he was born in the late 20s, 30s, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a whole different mindset to what people viewed the country and how they approached their fellow man. And then, of course, wanting to be part of the war, wanted to fight for his country, but he couldn't, until the experiment gave him the superhuman abilities that he now possesses, but in the end, wound up frozen in ice. Now it's 67 years later, a whole nother universe in itself opens up to him, and his ideologies are like lost in this new world.
Yeah, for him, where we live at now, it was his sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, like the stories he's read is what we're living now today. Where back where he was at, computers were the size of refrigerators. Now they're in your watch.
Yeah, they're the palm of your hands.
Yes.
And not only that, just the idealisms of dating. It's like it's a whole nother story back in the days of the 20s and 30s when, you had speakeasies and you don't catcall women. I mean, you do, but it was in a different way, and you approached women more directly. You even went through families in order to even start dating them. Today's dating is social media intent, and that's a whole nother animal in itself in comparison to what he had in his day. So here he is trying to settle and be part of this world. But the one thing I did like is that he didn't lose the integrity of who he was as an American, as Captain America. Steve Rogers, born, Brooklyn born, but he kept his ideologies of rightness, right. Well, I would say righteousness, but I would say more what's right and wrong. He had a moral core. There was just certain lines not to cross, and then certain lines he said you have to cross because you just can't stand back and do nothing.
You know who I think could relate to a person like Captain America? People who've been locked up for over 20 years.
This is true.
When they were locked up doing 25 years or whatever, they didn't have phones. Cell phones only been around when you really think about it, the last 30 years maybe. So for a person that came out of jail, it's like, how do I set this up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Rip Van Winkle effect. You went to sleep in 1938 and then you woke up in 1988.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all that time, technology, people themselves have changed throughout that time period. I mean, when you look at it, you're just walking into a whole nother earth. You're not the same one that you left behind. So ideologies and thoughts are all different, and you have to now adapt yourself to that sort of life. So that can be debilitating because you think a certain way and you feel this certain way, but the world that you're in doesn't accept that anymore.
Yes.
It's totally something different. So now it's like you're the odd one out, the weird one, why would you even think that? Well, that's because that's what you were born and raised with.
Yes.
And to you, that was right. But now it's like a whole nother ideology altogether.
Now, we tapped into the heroes who I don't think we've tapped into the villains. There aren't any handicapped villains, now that I'm thinking about it.
Handicapped villains?
The Joker could be considered psycho, actually.
Psycho, schizo. I mean, there are too many names for that character to fit.
But I don't think there's any.
No, I mean this is a man with a clinical definition all by himself, and the fact that he even got someone else into his realm.
Yes.
But then she's my favorite, Harley Quinn. I mean, I don't care if she's schizo. Come at me with a mallet any day, woman. But all jokes aside, but when you think about it, yes, I mean this is a man that's. I mean, I can't even put into words. He's just that great. I mean, there's nothing he won't do.
No.
And he's his own entertainment. I mean, if he wants to see the world burn, sees the world burn. I mean, he's not corrupted by money. I mean, we already saw in The Dark Knight. I mean, there was a ton of cash. I mean, more cash that would last maybe 4 lifetimes. And he put it up into flames. I mean, I was visually crying. I'm probably the only one in the theater crying. Why would you do such a thing?
Yes.
But, again, taking his point of view, perfect. The scene where he put the bomb on both ferries, one with, citizens, the other one with
the
inmates.
Criminals. Yes.
And try to put the test to see who would blow the other up. And that was his socialist experiment. I mean, it doesn't get any crazier than that, but it did have a sense of logic because in the end, the inmate was the one who threw it out because he knew what was going to happen, and it didn't. Mm-hmm. And that was a defining moment even for him. But everything else that he'd done, it's like from injuring the earlier Robin with a crowbar and the Killing Joke to shooting Barbara Gordon in the back and then turning her into Oracle. I mean, he turned her into a handicap. And I mean, it's crazy. What else would he come up with? What else is he going to think of? Injustice. When he wasn't favored in Metropolis in the news, what did he do? He blew up. He blew up the Daily Planet, killing Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, including Clark Kent's son, or Superman's son, which then he figured out how to turn Superman crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's a clinical definition all on his own. Definitely. I would agree with that as him being a handicap in itself.
Yeah. He's the only one that I can think of in the DC universe that has that mental problem. If you have, think of someone else, please let us know. I mean, again, hit us up at the social medias because I'm not sure if there's anybody else.
Well, there is someone else. We did mention it earlier, but we didn't go in depth in it. But then you got Batman.
Batman.
Okay. And then being the fact that his parents were killed in front of him, that will do something to you. And in the long run, of course, finding a vessel in which to avenge his parents' death in a way that he has. I mean, the thought process behind it. I mean, between learning 127 forms of martial arts, putting and investing his fortune in everything he could think of, from the cars to the planes to the gadget that he used, learning everything that an investigator would learn in order to unsolve crimes that are being committed in his city. And talking about the number one strategist that I can honestly say, number one strategist, he's always thinking 10 steps ahead of you. So that takes a quite significant mind to do that sort of thing.
I have an outline for a story where I wrote the outline, and it's basically that, what if he didn't have none of that? What if he's sitting in a corner in Arkham crazy house, right? In Arkham Asylum, and all these characters are in his mind. This is why he can never catch the Joker or kill the Joker or any one of the other villains, because they all live in his mind.
Oh, do tell.
So in my story that I have, I picture where he's sitting in a corner, suited up, the crazy uniform, and all the characters are popping in his mind, and he's actually acting them out in his room, and this is why he can never catch the Joker or Batman, because they're all him. And after his parents died from the accident, this is the cause of what happened. He couldn't handle the stress or anything, so they locked him up. He grew up in an Arkham Asylum, and this is what happened. This is in my story that I've outlined. This is what occurs. This is why you can never catch the Joker. Batman is never know who it is.
You can never kill the Joker too, because you're killing a part of your psyche.
Exactly. You can kill anybody in his psyche because it's part of him. He can catch him and put him away. That's how he deals with it.
But they always get out.
Exactly. And that's how he deals with it in my story. That's the story that I have outlined for that.
Fascinating.
Yes. If only DC would listen to this, DC Comics.
But that is a very fascinating story. So it's like an island unto himself in a world, and in his own mind, he's trapped with all these personalities. Joker, Riddler.
Yes.
I mean,
for you to be the Riddler, you have to be smart to come up with all them riddles.
Exactly. I mean, you can always ask, they'll say, well, how does Killer Croc come into all this? But again, a violent aspect of your psyche can be Killer Croc.
Yeah, that would be the anger he felt when his parents died.
I mean, you're talking about Mr. Freeze, where you can be as cold and disconnected with the world. Hence, there's Mr. Freeze. Again, all of that makes more sense now when you look at it more and more. All these different characters that are his villains are more personalities that are just being disassociated. As he's fighting them in his head and putting them away, they're still coming back. So it's like a never-ending, mindless, and insane battle that he's having. I could see that.
Yeah,
That's a good story right there in itself. Tell us what you think.
Let us know, please. Any comments? Leave it at the Rican page, or hit us up on Roku or any one of these social platforms, and we'll be there.
We'll be there. We'll answer. And as I said before, if we like your answer, and we'll post it on the show. If you have an idea, we'll put it out there.
And we'll be back again. Hope you like this episode, and we'll be back again with another episode of different subjects. It won't be so much on this one, and I think you're going to like the next episode. It's going to be interesting.
I'll leave you off with this in the words that Simon Pegg would say. Being a geek and a nerd is about being honest about what you enjoy and not being afraid of it. So be honest, have fun, and enjoy your fandom. I'm Mo.
I'm Lou.
And this is Nerdaricans. Take care.